Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today we shop at the Youngstown Flea, and I prepare garlic scape pesto. The scapes are ready to harvest now. But first, a walk down memory lane with the Idora Park experience. I'm sitting here in a Wildcat car at the Idora Experience with the owner, Jim Amy. And obviously, Jim, you can tell that I, too, am a fan of all things Idora. I mean, it's my logo. This is your logo.
Yes, I love your logo.
The sign from Canfield Road. And I'm overwhelmed by what you have out here.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
When I talked to you on the phone, and I saw some things on TV when you had some of the news out here, but I had no idea the extensive collection that you and your wife have acquired here.
Thanks. We hear that a lot from folks who come in here. We're so close to it, so we don't really notice. It's kind of like seeing the forest through the trees. But when people come in here and they remind us, and we have people crying and laughing, and they're like, "Holy cow, where did you find this stuff?" It's a great feeling for us. It really is.
What made you want to start collecting all this stuff?
Well, my wife and I walked through Idora Park in 1993 in the winter, and I hadn't been back since 1976. So, I mean, 17 years had passed. And I knew it had closed in 1984, but until I saw it with my own two eyes, that's when it really hit me in the chest. That's when it really hit me in the heart. It was like, oh, it's really not coming back. And I wanted to collect some things from there, so we walked through, and there were things in the ballroom, with massive ballroom. There were wooden chairs in there with the Idora logo on them, and there was all kinds of cool stuff in there. And I said, look, we got to take some of this stuff because it's going to disappear otherwise. The park was disappearing. And she said, no, that's stealing. You can't do that. And I tried to explain to her.
Hey, it's the Youngstown way, man.
That's what I said. I said the same thing. I said, I'm from Youngstown. It's okay. And she just would not buy that. In 1976, I worked a game called the football throw, and I also worked skee ball.
Love skee ball.
Yeah, we have two skee ball games, but they're identical to Idora's. Idora's burned in that fire in '84, but we have two that are identical. But the football throw, that was still standing. I don't know what it became after '76, but it was still standing, and there was a light fixture that was hanging by one screw over my booth. So I said, you know, I don't care really what you say, I'm taking that thing. And it's hanging up on the wall back there. It's got a little red bulb in it.
How do you get these things? Was it still there and you just were able to go get it?
I contacted the church, and Mount Calvary Pentecostal Church, and told them that I would like to take that and then I'd make a donation to them. And also there was a light that was, which is up here, a light that was above the office at Idora Park.
Yeah.
And then there's the last standing lamppost at Idora Park. And I told them I would like to acquire those things, and then I would make a donation. So we met at the church. I met with a fellow who's now deceased. He was a deacon in the church. And we agreed that I could take these things. So we got a couple friends together and we took them down, and now they're here. Except for 1/3 of that canopy was stolen because there was an electrical storm, and I had to leave it, and I was going to come back the next weekend because we were living in the Washington D.C. area at the time. And I guess scrappers grabbed it before I could get it. So,
no.
Yeah.
So when you lived in the D.C. area, where were you storing all this stuff?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad my wife's not answering that question.
Tony is Jim's wife, and you are buying your way into heaven through
I wish it were that easy.
the Idora Park memorabilia. You've never been there.
Nope.
You're from California.
Yep.
Do you feel that you've been to Idora Park with all of the acquisitions that you've made?
Yeah, I kind of do. So I kind of look at it that I've earned my stripes. You know, I'm a transplant to the Youngstown area, but I have a feeling that I probably know more, have experienced more, and probably am more engaged in some of its history and such. I knew about Idora Park 2 years before I ever stepped foot in Youngstown. That's how passionate Jim was about it. That's how I knew about Youngstown. I knew about Mill Creek Park. So the natural evolution of our relationship and our life and where we are was that we would end up here. I don't think we saw it 25 years ago that this is where we would be, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I was never there, but in my heart I have been.
And you never like have cried uncle like enough? I mean,
I am not saying we have not had our battles, especially when it came to buying artifacts, and I love to travel, so I don't mind the trips so much, but some of the negotiations, I'm probably more of a hardball negotiator, so I'll draw the line and say yes, but here's the limit, and that's all you can do, and you better find a way to do it within that.
I can't believe he has the tapes for this.
Every once in a while there's a holy grail I have to have for my Idora Park, and for many years a lot of people were looking for a rapids/Lost River boat, and nobody could ever find one. And then one day on the internet, a guy writes to me, sends me 3 photographs of this boat, and it's under a tree and it's falling apart, and he says, I played in this boat as a kid, thought you might like this. So right away I'm like, holy cow, this is the Lost River boat. The couple's name was Jack and Sally Kenny, and they said, we saw you on TV, we thought about donating, thought it was in bad condition, you wouldn't want it. And I said, yeah, of course I want it. So he called me at 5 o'clock, 5:01, and said, come get it. So I went out there, and there were wasps, there were trees growing up, there were wasps everywhere. We got stung, he and I both got stung, and we ended up putting it on my trailer, and we tore up the old wood because the trees were growing up through it and the wasps were trying to get us. So it was in really bad condition. I had to replace every piece of wood. The metal is all the original metal, and the wood has all been replaced, but it looks just like dead. It took a lot of photographs. And we kept the signs on the inside that say, keep hands inside boat.
You know, the property, I mean, that is so, the way it is right now in its current condition, and it doesn't seem like they are going to do anything with it. You've tried to acquire that, yes, the original Idora property.
Yes, we had our attorney contact the church's attorney, and we made an offer for more than the appraised value of the property. It's a little over 26 acres. And we told them the offer was good for 10 days. We didn't think we'd hear back from them.
Yes.
And in 8 days, they responded with a simple, the Idora Park property is not for sale.
What is your vision for that property if you were to acquire it?
Well, first of all, I think...
Because I think that neighborhood would really welcome you as a neighbor, because, yes, it's really gone to ruin. I've talked
to their I don't know if his title is CEO, but I've talked to the fellow about it.
The Idora Neighborhood Association.
Yes, yeah. And he's all for it. Our plan would be to put a museum to Idora Park. With all of this stuff, Mahoning Valley Historical Society would have it, put a museum on the property, open it up to picnics, walking paths. I think it would benefit the community, it would benefit the city, and of course it wouldn't have the rides on it anymore, but Idora Park started out in 1899 as a picnic area, and you never know how you're going to influence some young kid in his life, his or her life. Maybe that child hasn't been born yet, they're going to grow up, they're going to see something like this, and they're going to say, we can do this again. Mm-hmm. Who knows what might happen in the future? Like,
what do the Amy's do for fun? Like, what do you do to get away from, this kind of, Idora Park?
We're going to Disney World.
No,
yeah, we're taking kids and grandkids and going to Disney World.
The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor. Well, we are here at the Magic Tree Pub and Eatery, and I am with Rude the Dude, and let me tell you, there is no place I'd rather be than this patio. It is beautiful. Sunday Fun Day is every day.
Well, yeah, Casey, winter's almost over, so the patio season is coming. We have one of the biggest patios in Boardman. Every Saturday, live entertainment. Other special events that we do, we have a car cruise every Wednesday, taking up the whole lot. It's a great event, a lot of beautiful cars. Our farm-to-table menu, we still support local ingredients, local products. meat and cheese local. We also have our happy hour, Monday through Friday, half off all 41 craft beers on tap.
And a lot of local
and
beers
tons
there
of local
too.
beer, tons of local beers. But it's just a great time to come out and enjoy Magic Tree.
The living is easy at the Magic Tree Pub and Eatery. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bernard. I've been giving the people of our valley free advice for over 30 years, and my message has never changed. If you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, don't try to handle it yourself. Call a lawyer. A lawyer will be your representative, dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the red tape that you may face. Hiring a lawyer doesn't mean you'll end up in court, and remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases.
That's good advice. Need a lawyer? Learn more at ElizabethBernardLaw.com.
Mayflower Woolham is your full-service, independent insurance agency. We work with several insurance companies to offer you choices for your insurance needs. We'll find the right product at the right price. Personal, business, farm, life, trust Mayflower Woolham. You focus on what's important, we'll take care of the details. Mayflower Woolham, close by with 3 locations to serve you.
Woolley Brothers has a great choice of quality cheeses. We use our relationship with Old World Houses to specially select the product and then have it custom cut and packaged by our own local artisans. At Woolley Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
Is it time to update your color style? R&S Paint will assist you with your choice of over 3,400 Benjamin Moore colors. Vibrant, durable, and easy to apply. Be current, be stylish. Shop R&S Paint.
They only make an appearance once a year, and they're a real treat. I am talking about garlic scapes. Beautiful, delicate, and much milder than regular garlic. Hardneck garlic gets a garlic scape shoot that grows in the late spring, early summer. And a lot of times they're removed so the energy of the plant goes back into developing the garlic bulb, the whole entire head. And sometimes they're discarded, but you really should hang on to them because they're tender, they're delicious, a nice garlic flavor, but not too pungent. And they're just wonderful. You can grill them. I like to use them in a pesto, and they really add a lot to stocks and soups. So let's get started and make some garlic scape pesto with lemon and walnuts. For this recipe, you'll need 1 cup of garlic scapes chopped into 2-inch pieces, about 10 scapes, 1/3 cup of toasted walnuts, juice and zest from 1 lemon, ½ teaspoon of salt, fresh ground black pepper, 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and 1/4 cup of freshly grated Romano cheese. The scapes are curled and really pliable, and you only want to use the most tender part for the pesto, or if you grill them. So what you do is, like with a piece of asparagus, find the natural breaking point to get to that most tender part. So you just kind of follow it and then snap it naturally, and it'll come right apart. And then you will cut off the bulb at the very end and just cut these into about 2-inch pieces and add them to the food processing bowl. So now I'll add them into the bowl of the food processor, and make sure you use the blade attachment. I mean, this is a really easy recipe. I've toasted the walnuts. A lot of recipes called for the pine nuts. They're much less expensive and they're just easier to get, so I like to use walnuts instead of the pine nuts. And then the zest from 1 lemon and the juice from 1 lemon. This is so bright and so fresh. You are just going to love this recipe, and it's versatile. You can put it on pasta. It's great as a dip on bruschetta. Wonderful with eggs in the morning. I mean, really, whatever you want to do with it on a sandwich, it's just delicious. And then we'll add a little bit of salt, half teaspoon, and some fresh ground pepper. Let's get this combined. It'll be about a minute or so. And then we'll add the oil and the cheese. All right, it looks good. Now remember, this is not going to be like a basil pesto because the scapes are a lighter green. This will almost be the color of a guacamole. So now we'll scrape down the sides of the bowl, put this back on. While the motor's running, we will drizzle through the olive oil and let it combine and get all incorporated. This size batch is pretty generous, so it's enough for a pound of pasta, but you can also keep the saran wrap directly on top of it in your fridge for 4 to 5 days, and you can use it on sandwiches, on bruschetta, a lot of different applications. So now that we have the cheese in there, let's combine it just a little bit more. See, I told you it was gonna look like a guacamole. I'll put a little bit at the bottom of the bowl, and then I'll add my noodles. I just drained them, and I like to use a shortcut noodle for this kind of pesto. And then we'll just mix it all together. Now don't forget, save a little bit of pasta water in case you need to loosen it up. And oh, this looks so good. It smells delicious. And we'll just add a little bit more noodle, a little bit more pesto, and just go back and forth. But be generous with it. Use the whole cup. And it's wonderful cold for leftovers. So let's just get this all combined before we enjoy it. Mommy, this is one of my first batches of the season, and I'm gonna make some more so we have them throughout the summer and the winter.
Can you freeze this?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to freeze, and what's really nice is if I freeze it and hold it till August or early September when all the tomatoes are fresh, you add that and it loosens it up a little bit. Oh, I mean, it's just a wonderful pesto. And in honor of that, I thought we'd drink something good. My buddy Phil Rita, he suggested a Napa Shard cake bread salad.
You know, that's one of my favorites.
I know.
I love
So, tell me what you think. I mean, the lemon, I just love it. The zest and the juice makes this such a light and bright pesto. I just can't get enough of it.
We were so lucky when we went to the farmer's market.
Yeah, farmer's market. My friend Denise had some in her garden, and if you see them, make sure you jump on them because they're around for such a short amount of time. Like that. Isn't that delicious?
I never had this.
Really?
Never.
Gonna have to move in with me.
I like that. The bite. A little bit of it.
That's the lemon in there.
It's good.
I mean, you can do almonds. There's so many different variations. I also have another one without the lemon. All the recipes are available on my website, caseylastjune.com. Cheers.
Cheers.
To the skate. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
To own a business where your name's on the window can be pretty cool. That's my family. My name is Danny Catullo, and I'm the owner of Catullo Prime Meats. My grandfather started the business in 1962. I was able to take our old style butcher shop and bring it out to the new age using e-commerce to get our products to more customers. When we started shipping, there was not a ton of information out there. That's where we really worked with FedEx so they could be able to help us with our perishable shipping. We were taking on new purchases that we never had to make before. Boxes, coolers, ice packs, anything that was involved around shipping. So we can no longer do this with the cash that we had on hand. So because of the Plum Card from American Express and all of its benefits, it was a natural fit to help grow our business. And when someone calls and lets you know that you made their dinner, That's satisfaction that you can't get anywhere else.
There's a new standard in assisted living.
One that combines comfort, luxury, convenience, and the highest quality expert care.
Your loved ones can experience it now in Canfield's premier senior living location.
The Inn at Ironwood offers fine dining and amenities such as a concierge, salon, housekeeping, and laundry services.
And a truly elegant setting in Canfield.
Call us for more information or visit us and take a tour.
The Inn at Ironwood, Canfield's premier senior living location.
Rulli Brothers is way ahead of the competition. Check out Rulli Spice World, where you can buy bulk herbs and spices, plus candies, nuts, and fillings for pennies on the dollar. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
I personally feel that Forever Mark is the best because only 1% of diamonds can even become a Forever Mark diamond.
Diamonds take millions of years to be formed in the ground, and it's not very pretty. Once you get to that inner core of the diamond, it really can give beauty and light.
Forever Mark goes beyond the technical qualities of the 4 C's. They hand-pick diamonds that are truly beautiful.
Get real, get Kamara.
Well, I finally made it to the Youngstown Flea. It happens every month during the spring and summer here in downtown Youngstown. And you know what, Michael? I had no idea that this street with the brick that runs all the way to Cavelli was called Freeman's Alley.
Yeah, it's actually a street. It looks like a parking lot, I guess, but there's a lot of those in downtown. They're alleys, they're actually streets, but it's kind of a neat way for us to be able to rebrand a certain space. Nobody knew that this was Freeman's Alley. A lot of people recognize that structure behind us, but yes. With the Flea, you're able to say it's at Freeman Alley.
Well, Derek McDowell, this is your baby, huh?
It is. I'm so proud of my baby.
Now, this has grown, but what put this idea into your head to begin with last year?
Well, I should say, I got to give all the glory to God. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that this is his baby, and I'm just the steward of it. But, I just saw an open opportunity for our community to really revitalize itself by allowing entrepreneurs to live out their dream. So,
what are the requirements for the vendors if they want to be a part of this?
So we do ask you to go online and fill out an application. So it is a juried show. We want to know who you are, what products you want to bring, and we want to get to know you so that we can position you to the community the right way. So a small application, and then we review your product, and then we let you know.
Well, this is an interesting vendor, Deanna Dion, Cleveland Street Glass. So all of this is when your car, because I've had my car broken in. I was eating hot dogs at Steve's, and somebody broke into my car over there, right there off Lorraine. And so what do you go to the scene of the crime and sweep up glass?
Yes, I do. So I just drive around the city and I look for piles of glass on the curb, and those are all left over from car break-ins. And then I clean it and I sort it and make it into this jewelry.
I love this idea. Now this piece here, that is, you melt it?
No, so this is just a big piece of glass that I found, and it's kind of like a stained glass technique to put the metal around it. And other pieces are mixed with resin, and I'm just having a lot of fun with materials, seeing what I can do. Diana from Sugar Bomb Confections makes these beautiful macaroons. They are so colorful. Now, does each color represent a flavor?
Yeah, so we've got, this is raspberry, so it's got a raspberry buttercream and a little raspberry jam in it. We've also got salted caramel, blackberry, and lemon.
Here is a vendor from Pittsburgh. This is Amanda Wolf, Wolf's Den Pottery, and every single piece is made by you.
Yes. Yep.
Do you use any clay from the Monongahela or from any of the riverbanks?
I don't. I use a white porcelain clay. That's why the colors are so bright.
I mean, this is really some beautiful pieces. And how long do you have your own wheel, kiln, and everything at home?
Yep, I have a home studio in Pittsburgh, and I've been making pots for 17 years. So.
And that's the Wolf Den?
Yeah, the Wolf.
Your.
It's at my home. So
at your home.
Den. Yeah.
I mean, these are really beautiful pieces. And is this your first time at the Fleet?
Yes. Yeah. First time in Youngstown.
And how's it going?
Good. Real good. Yep.
Now, this is an interesting way to recycle books. The Pittsburgh paper girl, Erin, you make the trees, the balls, and what would you call these little sculptures?
I call them like book art sculptures. Yeah. But it's a mix of hand-folded and hand-cut paper.
Where did you get this technique or these ideas?
Well, my grandma, I was really close to her, and when she passed away, she was a bit of a hoarder, so she had, in a good way, not a hoarder.
That's scary.
Sorry, Grandma. But she had tons of music sheets, maps, and I just couldn't throw them away. So I started looking for ways to salvage them, and it kind of started small, and now I'm here, so.
Are these little bird houses?
No, people think that a lot. They're actually it's just hanging artwork. So it's just, I call them book mobiles.
Yeah. The vendors are really diverse. There is clothing, there is food products, really beautiful artists. I mean, this is really worth a trip to the Youngstown Flea. And then when it's all done, you come to the food court of food trucks. Look at all the different offerings, great food, a lot of it organic, a lot of it locally grown. And mark your calendar for the Youngstown Flea. Go to the website, get the dates and times, and come down. It is really worth the trip. The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.